dark.
Nice to meet you.
You too. I've been
I like the products behind you.
Oh, she tried right away.
I tried. I want you to know that we've been sipping the syrup every day. We have a tablespoonful.
Yes.
And I. We have not, I haven't been feeling like sluggish or anything, but just sipping on the sipping syrup.
Yes.
There's still a difference in my body.
Yes. That's good. And that's why I called it that, because usually when people buy buy 2 bottles, it's because you're consistently sipping on it, like how Sister Kathy does. She faithfully takes it. And you know, if you're doing it consistently, you're gonna see it. It's a huge difference.
But you please introduce yourself. And one of the things I want you to tell me is, where did the name Rell come from?
Okay, so my name is Janice McCutcheon. I am the owner of Rell House of Naturals, and the name Rell came from my children. Like, they are my reasons why. Like, they inspired me so much. So my son name is Terrell, which is the Rell, and my daughter her first name is Jalea, but her middle name is Brooklyn. We call her Brooklyn. Okay. So that's the Rell Brook.
Great. Mm-hmm. Now, my other person, would you please introduce yourself?
Oh, my name is Kathy Harrison. I am a frequent purchaser, Rell Brook website. And my husband and I have been taking these products for, I think Leonard started first.
Yes.
Started taking it about a year or more ago. And I started faithfully maybe around the summertime, but I love them.
I found out about it because of Kathy, and she left it in my refrigerator when she visited in November. I knew she was sipping on this thing, but I didn't exactly know what it was or why she was sipping on it. But I found out eventually that she just swears by this thing. Now, this thing that I keep saying is called Elderberry. It's elderberry products. But one thing I noticed about your website is that you call it the grand berry of berries. Why?
Yes, because number one, I have to thank God for everything. And, you know, I have a story that goes behind the reason why I began making the elderberry syrup. But I just went back to my roots and I embraced what God already has on earth for us. God put everything on earth already to help heal our bodies. And I thank God every day for me discovering elderberry. So elderberry isn't like your typical berry. I think the most medicinal berry besides elderberry is a blueberry because it has antioxidants. But elderberry has antioxidants. It has the anti-inflammatory properties on top of immune boosting properties. So it's just like grand. And I also took the word, when you hear elder, you kind of think of grandparent. So I kind of just threw in that word for kind of like ancient berry, but like the best berry there is, pretty much.
Okay, Kathy has a few testimonials, and I want you to listen to them, Janice, and then tell me what is going on in her story with the elderberry. Okay.
I had a coworker who had COVID, and to be honest, when I first heard how she sounded, I almost thought she was on her way out. And it almost put a fear in me. God, you know, he quiets the storm. And after a week or so, I asked her, you have anything to build your immune system? And she told me she had everything except this thing called elderberry. I'm like, oh, so you know about elderberry? She said, yeah, but I don't know where to find it. I said, I got it. I know where to get it from. So I got with Janice and I got her some syrup and I got her some tea. And I took it to her house. The next day, she texted me and said she finally got 3 hours of good sleep. And I said, what do you mean? She said, anytime before last night, my husband and I would go to sleep and we would wake up scared because of the pain we had in our body. She said last night was the first night we were able to sleep about 3 hours straight without having pain in our body. Wow. And I was like, what? She said, it's that elderberry. She said, I know God is in this too, but that elderberry. So she had COVID, her husband had COVID, 2 of her children and 2 of her grandchildren. So she told them that they needed to get some elderberry. Mm-hmm. And whether they did it or not, all of them have now tested negative. She is still going through some things with her body, but ever since she started taking elderberry, she's gotten better and better every day.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
And this virus, people suffer from this virus for a long time. Like some of the effects of this virus has been lifelong. Like I know people who's had the virus and they're still suffering, either still having respiratory issues or even like physical issues, like can barely walk, don't have energy. So, for a person to be able to fully bounce back, that's nothing but God.
Yes.
Who provided us with the elderberry.
Yes.
Great. When you were talking, and I don't proclaim to be a doctor at all. Mm-hmm. Neither one of us are.
Right.
When Kathy was talking about it and she was talking about the pain in her body, it reminds me of my husband and the pain that he felt at some point, and it was inflammation. Mm-hmm. Kathy not mentioned it. I don't think I'd ever heard of elderberry. And so the purpose for talking to you is to get that out to the people that listen to me. Another thing I want you to know is that this is Women's Month.
Yes.
Yes. Women make a difference. And a lot of times when we think of the women that we want to honor during the month of March, it's those women that have already been dead and gone, or they're doing these huge things in the political arena or in sports or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And so today, Mrs. Janice McCutcheon and Catherine Harrison, today I celebrate the two of you.
Oh,
introducing Elderberry into my life, and to Janice for creating such a wonderful product. My husband has put aside the apple juice that we were drinking, Elderberry Lemonade.
Awesome.
It has less sugar.
Yes.
It has less sugar than the apple juice that we were drinking. Yeah. So I mentioned the tea, I mentioned the lemonade, and the sipping syrup, which is really like a syrup in what I thought. Though I would not tell anyone, man, that elderberry syrup tastes good. But I cannot say that it has a bad taste.
Right. It's not like an appetizing taste, but it won't throw you away from it. But make sure that you sip it every day.
It's not difficult to deal with at all.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I created the lemonade. My children they've grown to, accustomed to it to where they take it no problem. But before, I was having an issue with getting them to take it consistently. I'm like, listen, y'all need this every day. And I created the lemonade. Also, I created for my husband because it was coming to a point where I had to get up and put before he goes to work, make him a cup of the syrup. Like he was like, I'm running late, I have to go. So I'm like, I'm gonna make you something to where you can just grab it and go. And so that's why the elderberry was just like, it killed 2 birds with one stone. I was able to make that for him and for my children, and it was just great. And like the lemons provide the extra vitamin C, it just takes it over the top.
There was more than one flavor on your website. I think what I did, I thought that I brought multi-pack, but then I ended up with all lemonade. Have you discontinued the other flavors?
Yes, I did discontinue the other flavors. And the only reason is because I had to get the lemonade mass produced because the demand was so high. And with it being mass produced, it was certified organic, although I use all my ingredients have been organic since the very beginning. But the lemonade is certified organic by the USDA and it's shelf stable. So the lemonade doesn't have to be refrigerated. But the other products that I was making, like I had the elderberry sweet tea, which tastes great. Then I had the half and half, which tastes great as well, but they weren't shelf stable and they weren't certified organic by the USDA. So I just felt like, and I still had to prep it in the kitchen. So I just felt like it wasn't, I had to move on from it. But my husband and my son ask for that sweet tea all the time. They love it. So maybe sometime in the future, I would get it mass produced from the co-packer. But as of now, I have discontinued it.
Whenever I visit West Palm Beach, I'll just ask you to make a gallon for me.
And I would be happy to. I would be happy to.
I'm always asking for something because, I really believe that I deserve whatever I ask for. Right, Kathy?
I agree.
Discount, like what was that? That promotional discount?
The discount.
Yeah.
I did. I tried.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you can tell us, Kathy, about this elderberry?
Yeah, she needs to also tell us about her other product.
Okay, great.
The gummies?
Oh, yes. Okay, so the gummies is another thing. I didn't discontinue, but I had to kind of put it off for a second because those aren't shelf stable. And like they literally only have 3 ingredients. They have no preservatives. So the gummies weren't like lasting long. Mm-hmm. And it was very hard for me to like ship them out. So I've been working on the gummies and now I have a new great recipe that's coming out. I should have them, it should be released in 15 days. And now they have vitamin C, they have zinc, and they taste great. They're shelf stable. So I'm able to ship them out. They don't have to be refrigerated. Okay. And for some reason, people love gummies. They love gummies. So I had to get back on the gummy train.
Some people like gummies.
Yeah. Oh, I want to try those.
Girl, my sister-in-law just told me the other night, I gave her a bottle of that and she said, but it tastes so good. I ate them all. This is
really?
It's a grown woman.
Oh my goodness.
And when I get vitamins, I want gummies. It's easy to take. It's not something people dread. And you still get the benefits.
Benefits, right.
Benefits, yes.
We get asked because I do farmers markets as well, and we get asked about gummies a lot. Gummies that I was making, I couldn't even take them to the farmers market really because they would melt. Like I literally didn't have any preservatives or nothing like that at all. So I had to get a new recipe. Now they're back and better than ever.
And so in order to purchase it, we can just go to rellbrook.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Your website. And that website is so beautiful. I love the colors.
Thank you.
It was just so easy to navigate.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I have one more question for you. There was a day when you didn't have Rellbrook. How or what inspired you to start doing what you currently do?
Wow. Well, like I said, there's definitely a story. I have lupus. I was diagnosed with lupus in 2017, and I had to do kidney biopsy. How I found out about lupus, that I had lupus, was I had a blood clot in my left leg. Before this, totally healthy, had 2 children, normal births, nothing. I haven't even been hospitalized besides giving birth to my children. And so 2017, I got this blood clot in my leg. And I went to see about it because they were like, you're so young, you shouldn't be having blood clots. So I went to see about it and they did all this blood work and it came back that I had lupus. I had no idea what lupus was. Nobody in my family has lupus. So, I did research on the internet, and only thing you could see is die, you die, you die. And even like people I talk to, they say, oh yeah, I know someone that, my cousin had lupus. She died. I got very depressed, very sad. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything at all. But a friend I know that had lupus, she said, you need to get your kidneys checked. Finally, just went and got my kidneys checked, and lupus was attacking my kidneys very bad, to the point where once they got the results from the biopsy, my doctor told me I need to go into the hospital right now and begin chemo treatment. So I went to the hospital and I had to get rounds of chemo, and they're saying, listen, you're going to be very susceptible to infections and colds because you're getting chemo, and plus you're on all of these immune suppressing drugs. They're like, listen, we can give you some other drugs to help your immune system. I'm like, okay, and then what is that drug going to do to my body? I immediately started looking for natural ways to help my immune system. And that's how I came across elderberry. I started off making the elderberry syrup, and during chemo, I would dip on my syrup. I am not getting sick at all, like nothing. I even traveled all the way to California. My doctor was like, listen, that ain't safe. I'm like, listen, I have faith. I went all the way to California and I was totally fine. I haven't had a cold in forever. You couldn't come in our house and ask for cold medicine. We don't own it at all. I was taking the syrup. I'm like, listen, this can't be real. Started giving it to my children, my husband. We haven't had a cold in years. That's how I started with Rell. People in my church heard about it. Sister Kathy's husband, I think he had the flu or something. Yeah. And I saw him in the pharmacy. I'm like, you got to try this elderberry. And so he bought it once, and then he just started buying. And then once coronavirus happened, people got winds that I was making this elderberry, and it just took off from there. What the devil meant for bad, God meant it for good.
There you go.
Don't get us started.
Don't get me started.
COVID-19.
Yes,
I'm telling you, COVID hasn't been bad to me. COVID's been, the pandemic's been real good to me.
All right. You have a wonderful backstory.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, she does.
Lupus is, after educating myself, because I just didn't understand lupus at all. I'm like, how could my body be attacking my own body? I just didn't understand. So lupus it causes inflammation all over your body. And mine specifically caused inflammation on my joint and on my kidneys. Some people get inflammation on their brain. Some people get it in all kind of places. And one of the main things of elderberry is it's an anti-inflammatory. And not only it can help with your joints and aches and pain, but also if you're having respiratory issue, all of that is inflammation. I can't make any claims because I'm not a doctor either, but it supports removing the inflammation from your body.
This is so good. And I want to thank you ladies for joining me today. And my name is Jean. My YouTube channel is Jean G.
G&G.
I started my YouTube channel as a result of being a loose natural and then having Sisterlocks. But with my Sisterlocks and my relationship with God, I've been able to present more than my hair because I'm more than my Sisterlocks.
Yes.
Today, I am honored to be sitting here and talking to you and being able to get your story out to some more people all over the world.
Yes. I so appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I will share a link with you. Then you can let some of your friends and family know that you are going to be on YouTube promoting rellbrook.com, the Granberry of berries.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Right. Please let me know because I would love to share it on my my social media as well for my business.
Great.
Okay, sure thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
All right.
Good night.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too.
Oh, my products are here.